So if you don't have a calculator handy and you need to be adding or subtracting a decimal, um, there's just a few tricks. Eighth graders will, for the most part, use calculators all school year long. But when we take some of our state assessment tests at the end of the year, you will have some things that they will prevent you from using the calculator on, and then you'll need to know how to do this on paper. So if a problem is in a word problem or it's set up sideways, like these particular problems are, and you're supposed to give an answer, most people would take the time when you're first learning how to do this and actually rewrite the problem. So the way that I teach my students when they're first learning is I take a piece of notebook paper with the lines on it, and I use the lines as column dividers. So that way, this number is really $20, take away $1.45. So if I think about it like dollars, then I'm going to go ahead and put my zeros in here, and then I can go ahead and subtract like a regular problem. I know, because I have some money sense, that clearly that's a little less than $2. So my answer better be 18 and something. So when I work it out, that's what I'm in my head checking to make sure I'm going to get an answer kind of like that. So I purposely did a borrowing problem first. So you have to borrow clear over here, so I make that $19, and then I make this a 9, and I make this a 10, because you started with 10 dimes, but you don't have enough pennies, so you take one of the dimes and you make it into pennies. So now I can subtract going straight down. So 10 take away 5 is 5, and then 5, and then 19 take away 1 is 18, and I bring the decimal straight down, and I have 1855. So you see how you use the decimals and you line them up? If you had tried to take 20 minus 145 and forgot the decimal altogether, you just physically can't do that in a way that makes sense. And so I have done the same thing for this next problem. I went ahead and lined them up. Clearly there's already a decimal in them for you, so that makes it a lot easier. You just put them on that straight line together, and then you just add going straight down. Adding is definitely easier than having to borrow. And then I have done the same thing for the bottom two problems. So I'm just gonna cover those bottom two problems up for just a minute, and then I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I've written them on the lined paper. So there they are on the lined paper. And again, if there's nothing in the spot, you could just put a 0 if it bothers you. Lots of people like to have all the boxes filled in, but if I know they're empty, I can assume that they are zeros. So it would be a 0 and then a 1 and then an 8, and then I bring the decimal straight down. So I would have 8.104, or 8, and this is the tenths, hundredths, and thousandths place. So it's just a little reminder. Again, I have to borrow here because I can't take away 3 from a 1. So I'm going to make that 11, and I'm going to borrow 1 from this one. I can go ahead and do that. I don't have to do any more borrowing. So 6 take away 1 is 5, and 11 take away 3 is going to give me 8. And so that's how I would have solved those problems, using the columns on just a regular piece of notebook paper to kind of help me line all the decimals up. So in case you needed that review from before, there's an example of how to add or subtract a decimal. Great job.